Today is easily one of the saddest days for the world of Call of Duty PC, and you've read the title. We're talking about Black Ops 3 here on PC, and this news is honestly still quite a shock to me, and I'm genuinely really gutted by this. But as I'm sure you're all aware on the channel, we've covered an amazing new client being created for Black Ops 3 on PC, designed to improve the game's performance on PC, as well as get rid of all the hackers, the cheaters, and continuously fixing security flaws that would allow people to control your PC, install malware, and compromise your PC while you're just trying to play Call of Duty. And unfortunately, today was the last day that these are going to exist, as the creators received a cease and desist letter from Activision in relation to the xLabs project, and because of that, they are also shutting down the Boiii client. And just like that, the dream of playing Black Ops 3 the way it was always intended is no longer. And this truly is just something that really hurts. Like, I think it goes without saying, with how many years I've covered COD, and specifically Black Ops 3, that game is such a special game for me, as I'm sure it's such a special game for so many of you watching this video. And I am so thankful for Treyarch and Activision making that game. It's changed so many lives, and for the last few years it's been such a sort of demoralizing and frustrating experience not being able to play this game with my friends without worrying about being booted offline, having any of these major security issues affect my life and my PC just by playing a game. This is where this BO3 client literally was going to be the saving grace for myself, my friends, any content creator, people that just want to enjoy the game. And I know that what I'm describing with Black Ops 3 isn't solely exclusive to Black Ops 3 on PC. There's also a ton of other much older Call of Duty games that also have the exact same issues on PC, which is why clients like xLabs exist. And the thing that makes me so angry about this, and I want Activision to see this from our point of view, is that there is no safe alternative to play older Call of Duty games online anymore. This isn't just specific to Black Ops 3, although I feel Black Ops 3 is a very unique COD out of all the other older CODs on PC. But if we look at all of them, we're talking games that are like 10 plus years old, and obviously it's completely unreasonable to expect Activision to maintain the security on all those old games. It just doesn't make sense. They got to focus on the security for the current game, let alone for any older games. But for Black Ops 3 specifically, it is such a unique scenario because they have something with that game on PC that no other COD games have, which is custom mod tools for custom zombies, custom multiplayer maps. As I've covered on the channel recently, there has been a massive boom with the amount of players on PC. Even as far as the last 6 months, there's been more people playing the game on Steam than there has been for a good few years. So clearly there is like a little bit of a resurgence for the PC player base. And unfortunately, as that player base grew and grew and grew, the ins and outs of the significant vulnerabilities that the game had that allowed hackers to take over people's computers started to become knowledge that more and more people had. And it got to the point where Maurice, who is the creator of the Boiii client, submitted multiple bug reports to Activision, in which some of them were fixed and some he was just ignored. And it led to this article by a website called TechCrunch in February, where Maurice's cry for the game to be fixed because he was fixing it himself was finally acknowledged by Activision and Treyarch, where they put out a patch for the game in February this year. With any live service product, if you fix anything, eventually people will find exploits some way, shape or form, and unfortunately that's just what's happened with Black Ops 3. So instead of Activision and Treyarch trying to play catch up by updating the game every so often to fix these updates, Maurice was taking it into his own hands to constantly fix any issues that have crept up, saving Treyarch and Activision all the hassle of having to constantly keep on track of all of these issues. Now, there is one glaring issue with xLabs and Boiii, which I think is the main reason why Activision took this down, is because these clients promoted piracy. You didn't have to own the games officially by buying them on Steam. You could have just downloaded them through torrent sites, and that obviously is not a good thing. If it's something that supports the main game, but you still have to purchase the full game in order to use the client, then by all means, to me, I don't see there being any problems, and I'm sure Activision didn't either. But it's until you realize that all of these clients sort of encouraged piracy, and clearly that is a big issue, a no-no that simply should not happen. It doesn't matter how old these games are, you should still be officially buying them. And the fact that these clients were just exactly that, they were clients to add on to the original game purchase, which I think is absolutely fine. But I think that is the downfall of xLabs and Boiii, which is super unfortunate, because at the end of the day, these clients clients did amazing work that unfortunately Activision and the dev studios just don't have the time or the budget to do. What makes this ultra sad as well is that in the last week, I noticed Maurice required anyone that was testing the Boiii client that they had to buy the game on Steam. They couldn't torrent Black Ops 3. They had to purchase it, and I think that is absolutely fair. It's really sad that all the precautions were sort of put in place to try and prevent this from happening, but it seemed to just be too little too late. The piracy side of things, I can completely understand where Activision are coming from, but the other side is that I just don't understand why they have not supported this client more in the fact that it makes their own games safe to play, because if it wasn't for Maurice and the team behind the Boiii client, who's to say that Black Ops 3 would have even gotten an update on PC in 2023? It's because of him reporting the security issues directly to Activision that they were aware of these things and were able to fix it directly, and he's been able to constantly be on top of these issues and able to fix them. And as far as I am aware of in the gaming space, I don't really see a community doing that for an old game anymore. These clients had massive, passionate communities behind them, and I feel like Activision should have tapped into that. I don't know if this is directly comparable, but the 5M mod for GTA 5 completely revitalized GTA on PC, where hundreds of thousands of people were watching GTA 5 and buying the game to experience this modification to the game that allowed them to experience something very different to what the original base game offered, whilst also being completely safe on customized dedicated servers. And Rockstar, all that popularity, ran with it, supported it, and that has definitely done nothing but bring more eyes on GTA 5, more revenue for GTA 5, and all in all, it's just a very positive thing. Surely the one positive thing that Activision can take from all of this is to somehow have Maurice involved with security on Call of Duty in a bigger way, so that his efforts are actually reflected into the official game support, so that we see that level of dedication to fixing an older game and preserving it so that people can enjoy it. Maybe sometime in the future, Activision could look to invest in a whole security team to maintain these older COD games on PC, especially with regards to the more modern games that have a lot of PC support, like Black Ops 3 and World at War, and Black Ops 4 just as examples. Surely a scenario can exist where an open dialogue by Activision is had to these different groups so that, you know, a solution can be solved here. Because the really worrying thing now is that the SM2 project, which was a massive talking point last week in the gaming news, has gone, but that's because it promoted piracy and the fact it was a full-on COD game, which you didn't need to buy. But now we've seen Boiii and xLabs, which were just clients to games that you had to pay for, but I guess that sort of gray area of not paying them. The only thing that's left is Plutonium, and if Plutonium goes, then the future of Call of Duty on PC for these old games looks incredibly bleak. Plutonium have said themselves on Twitter in the last hour that they just wish they could talk to someone at Activision to know what they're happy with and what they're unhappy with. They're already planning a few changes that they feel may help, and I've got all my fingers crossed that Activision do have a conversation with them before just straight up cease and desisting, because end of the day, Activision are just forgetting the whole reason why these clients exist is because these are passionate people going out of their way for absolutely free to create fixes for these older games so that people can enjoy them like they used to back when they first launched. Now, when it comes to piracy, I'm completely on Activision's side here. I completely agree with the fact that that cannot fly any longer, but I feel like the existence of these clients should not be shut down purely from that standpoint. Security in these old games needs to be fixed, especially with Black Ops 3. It is still a very active Call of Duty game. It was already fixed earlier this year, so it's clear to show that they have the capacity to continue to update it. For some of these older COD games on PC and console as well, this complete Thanos snapping of all of these clients shows that there is a huge problem with these old games and they need to be addressed.